Just ahead on CTV News, our days of extreme heat could soon be coming to an end. Plus,
Aisha Braveboy is already getting to work with the launch of a new initiative for Prince George's County. More on that coming up on CTV News.
And Governor Moore announces a state hiring freeze. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for June 25th. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, an end to this week's sweltering heat could be on the horizon. Another extreme heat advisory has been issued today for the D.C. metro region, and temperatures could reach the triple digits in some areas, with heat indexes reaching highs of 108 degrees. Temperatures are expected to come down slightly starting tomorrow, with pop-up showers and thunderstorms that could be strong and severe. Tonight, you can expect a little relief with lows in the 70s.
Another day of dangerous heat, and for residents of a Laurel apartment complex, no air conditioning. Residents tell CTV that the AC went out 2 weeks ago at the Elms of Laurel Park in Laurel, leaving them to suffer under extreme heat conditions inside their apartments day and night. Officials with Anne Arundel County have been on hand checking on residents and offering to bus them to cooling centers. Residents say it's unbearable.
What's it like on your unit?
It's hot. It's very hot. Everywhere is hot. You know, it's like 100 degrees out here. So, of course, it's going to be hot. Try to keep the dogs hydrated, ice in their water. We're drinking a lot of water with freezing water. My daughter-in-law gave me a little tiny cooler thing that I put water in, and it sprays you. And that made me get like maybe an hour or so sleep. But then I woke up again because it was so hot, you know.
Having a hard time sleeping.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to sleep when it's as hot as this. It's like that you could cut the heat with a knife.
The leasing office would not comment on the matter. No definite word yet on when the AC will be restored. Meantime, a great way to beat the heat wave is to head to the pool. The county's Department of Parks and Recreation has 7 outdoor and 7 indoor pools available for residents this summer. Parents should keep in mind that they need to have eyes on their children at all times while at the pool. Officials say don't rely solely on flotation devices to protect your child from drowning. That's why parents are encouraged to enroll their kids in swim lessons.
We blow our whistle mostly for children to walk, children to obey the rules. And, you know, no matter who we're blowing the whistle at, everybody should always look at their nearest lifeguard because you never know if it's to you or not.
Make sure that they are prepared with their swimsuits. In bright colors is a preference, just so they're easy to watch. But come out and have a good time.
To reserve your spot at one of the county's 14 county-run pools, visit pgparks.com.
Well, the state's heat-related workplace conditions reform put into place last year has been put to the test this week. Some of the changes included that workers, excluding emergency responders, should only work outside for 15 minutes in an hour time period during high heat. The reform stems from Maryland's 27 heat-related deaths last summer. Maryland Labor Secretary Portia Wu says, quote, "We all benefit from making sure that workplaces are safer." And during this extreme heat, one thing to be aware of is your phone overheating. AT&T shared with CTV 5 tips to keep your phone cool this summer. The first tip is to keep the device out of direct sunlight and store it in the shade whenever possible. 2, avoid overusing the device. 3, remove the phone case as it can trap heat. And tip 4, turn off features such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and background apps when not in use. And lastly, when your phone does overheat, turn it off, lay it down, and let it cool naturally.
Aisha Braveboy was sworn in as the new county executive last week and is already making an impact.
That's right. Braveboy announced a new initiative today that is already seeing results across Prince George's County. CTV's Benji Kaufman has more.
The Aisha Braveboy era is officially underway. The new county executive just launched a new initiative, Project Elevate, designed to beautify the roads of Prince George's County. But it's these sweepers that are going to lead the efforts in cleaning the streets and picking up litter.
We realized that really, if in our greater strategy to sort of clean up the county roadways, the more sweepers that we had, the more litter we could collect.
These regenerative air sweepers are designed to pick up loose pieces of trash as well as clear up tiny particles in the roads, which helps keep stormwater clean and free of pollutants. The county will send 8 to 9 sweepers across 24 zones in Prince George's County. And officials say the trucks have already picked up 600,000 pounds of litter.
This is an exciting day in Prince George's County.
With the beautification efforts, Braveboy explained how she wants to see the growth of Prince George's County and for the world to see it as well.
Being able to show ourselves and who we are when people enter our community. And so when they enter Prince George's County, they know they are in a county of excellence because we will have no road that goes uncared for.
The county government wants to collaborate with residents through this initiative and better respond to the complaints reported through the 311 phone line.
Well, DPWT is a service department and we exist to serve the public. So we have ideas on what we should do, but really it's not as complete as if we have feedback from our residents who we serve.
After the summer, when the weather cools down, the county will host events that invite residents to get involved and volunteer in community cleanup events. From Upper Marlboro, Benji Kaufman, CTV News.
Officials also said that because Prince George's County residents already pay high property taxes, the county government wants to ensure those investments are being put to good use. And Governor Wes Moore has announced his plan to slash $121 million from the state's personnel budget. In a letter sent to state employees yesterday, the governor listed several measures, including a state hiring freeze that will go into effect on July 1st. Moore also announced a buyout program, the elimination of vacant state positions, and the consolidation of facilities. Now, the governor says the hiring freeze will look similar to the one imposed in 2020. It will not include the university system, hospitals and prisons, sworn law enforcement, and health and safety fields.
Republican lawmakers in Annapolis are weighing in on the governor's announcement. GOP members blame Democrats for passing what they call a bloated budget that was recently passed. For their part, Democrats are putting the blame on President Trump and his DOJ team. Republicans say any budgetary issues should have been worked out months ago when the legislature was in session. Public Sector Union AFSCME Maryland Council 3 released a statement saying, in part, solutions cannot come at the cost of providing quality state services. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, one local city is offering free healthcare services to residents.
We'll tell you where and what those services include after the break.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we are at our best, we have more to offer the world around us. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
but I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. Thanks to your donations, we're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Welcome back. Kilar Garcia is expected to be released from a Tennessee jail today following a judge's orders that he does not have to stay in jail while awaiting trial. Garcia is expected to be picked up by ICE as soon as he is released from jail, while federal prosecutors are currently appealing the judge's decision. Garcia's wife spoke about the journey her family has been on over the past few months.
It's been 106 days since he was abducted by the Trump administration and separated from our family. Over 3 months, we've had to stand and plead for his liberation. He missed birthdays, graduations, and Father's Day. And today, he misses our wedding anniversary. I find myself again torn from my children's, traveling back to Nashville to fight for Kilar's freedom. Instead of celebrating our love surrounding by families, I'm here. Yet I'm not alone. Today, in honor of Kilar and our wedding anniversary, I will celebrate our fight and the fight for all those who stood with us and refused to give up. We will not stop until my husband is free.
The prosecutors also believe it's possible that Garcia could be deported once in ICE custody before he faces trial. A Prince George's County man is suing the state of Maryland for having his driver's license suspended. The plaintiff is Donron Mason of Oxon Hill. Reports show that Mason was driving to work when he was pulled over for a traffic violation last December. That's when he found out his driver's license was suspended. Mason says he owed $700 in child support. However, he was told that because he now had sole custody of his child, he wouldn't lose his license. His lawsuit claims that 20,000 Maryland drivers in 2023 have had their driver's license suspended for not paying their child support.
Meanwhile, a Lanham man is convicted of 2 counts of filing false tax returns. 60-year-old Funso Timothy owned and operated his tax preparation service called Ramath Taxes from his home. For tax year 2021, he filed numerous tax returns with the Maryland Comptroller for residents, and several included false information, leading to increased tax refunds and a loss to the state. Timothy is now sentenced to 5 years of supervised probation and ordered to pay more than $18,000 to the Comptroller. And free basic medical services are now available at the Laurel Multi-Service Center. These walk-in services are offered every Monday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and you don't have to make an appointment or have insurance. Available services include blood pressure checks and blood glucose monitoring, basic vision and hearing assessments, minor wound care, and health education and preventative care guidance.
The goal is to expand the clinic to offer services full-time. We just want to provide more access to our residents. This facility is more than just a facility. It is truly a lifeline for many of our residents. So it's important for us to be able to provide services and assistance to those who are in need.
And for more information, you can contact the center at 301-974-3010. And Maryland's major education overhaul just hit a milestone. The State Board of Education has signed off on an agreement with the board overseeing the blueprint for Maryland's future, a sweeping 10-year reform plan. The goal? Clearer communication and less confusion. For years, the school districts have struggled with mixed signals from 2 agencies, And this new agreement lays out who does what and requires regular check-ins between the boards. But it's not official just yet. The Blueprint Accountability and Implementation Board still needs to approve it when they meet on Thursday.
Maryland lawmakers are among those drawing attention to the impact of President Trump's proposed cuts to the IRS. Congressman Steny Hoyer was joined by colleagues to host a briefing with former IRS commissioners on the cuts. Lawmakers say the cuts to its workforce could complicate next year's tax filing season. According to the National Taxpayer Advocate report to Congress, the IRS has already cut 1/4 of its workforce. Also, the report indicates that the proposed budget includes a 20% reduction in IRS funding next year.
But I thought it was absolutely essential for us to have a better knowledge of what we're doing. My conviction is Musk and Doge knew how to do it. They knew nothing about the consequences. I'm not talking just about IRS or Treasury, I'm talking across the board.
The briefing, which was also attended by Congressman Glenn Ivey, was held in the Rayburn House Office building. And former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan and the former governor of Montana tout that in politics it's possible to agree to disagree respectfully. Hogan, along with Governor State Bullock, took part in a forum hosted by the Pew Charitable Trust in State's newsroom yesterday. During the conversation, the former governors discussed use of force in responding to violent protests and the U.S. strike in Iran. Hogan says, quote, "You can't get anything done unless you're willing to listen to the other side." Hogan, a Republican, led Maryland, a predominantly blue state, while Bullock, a Democrat, ran Montana in a predominantly red state.
And still to come on CTV News, it's Wednesday, so you know what that means.
After the break, we will meet our Pet of the Week. Stay with us.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020.
We were adopted in 2019.
And we were adopted in 2021.
We had a house, and it sounds crazy, but it wasn't a home. The one thing that Jake and Emma brought is it became a home.
When I met Dakota, he had just turned 14.
You weren't there for the first this and the first that. I missed the first words, but we got a lot of other firsts.
Watching her say, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I got my license." And she's like, "I passed." And I'm like, girl.
See them grow. It is.
They chose to love us. They didn't have to. They chose us. Family.
You and you. Kids in the middle.
What I thought was a complete life was nowhere near complete, but it is now.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Got one of these hanging on the wall? You're qualified. One of these? You're qualified too. Love a good checklist? Qualified. 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 Yep, qualified. Because if you know how to put up anything in your home, you're qualified to save lives by installing free smoke alarms in your community. Go to soundthealarm.org to find a volunteer event near you.
Welcome back. A family in Montgomery County is left without a home following a house fire Tuesday night, causing $100,000 in damages. On your screen is the aftermath of the house located at 11800 block Rocking Horse Road. Firefighters arrived on the scene after 8 p.m. The blaze started from the rear deck and eventually extended to the house. Investigators say the fire started from a portable generator that was charging a supply of lithium-ion batteries. No injuries have been reported at this time.
A Maryland couple faces reckless endangerment and neglect of a minor charges after leaving their 1-year-old unattended in a hotel room. Police found James Grant and Carrie Nooner at a Gainesville bar consuming alcohol after receiving a report of a child neglect. Police took Grant and Nooner to the hotel to conduct a welfare check on the child, who was sleeping when they arrived. The child is now in the custody of a family member. And the latest jobs report shows that Maryland added a total of 2,900 jobs, despite losing 1,800 public sector jobs in May. According to the U.S. Department of Labor's Bureau of Labor Statistics, the public sector employment did expand by 4,700 jobs, but the net decrease is due to the loss of 3,200 federal government positions. The report also shows that the state's unemployment rate slightly increased by 3.2%.
Well, a new study is raising concerns about alcohol and your brain health. Researchers found that people who drink heavily or used to were more likely to show signs of damage linked to Alzheimer's and other types of dementia. Heavy drinking in the study, published in the Neurology Journal, meant 8 or more drinks a week. And the long-term effects go beyond the brain. The heavy drinkers also died younger, on average about 10 years earlier than others. So while a glass here or there might not seem like much, doctors say the risks may add up over time. And heading out for the 4th of July holiday, well, you won't be alone. TSA says it's ready to screen more than 18.5 million travelers between July 1st and the 7th. The busiest day, Sunday, July 6th, with nearly 2.9 million flyers expected. And that's just shy of the record-breaking 3.1 million travelers screened earlier this month. Now, TSA says it's all hands on deck at airport checkpoints with extra tech and new procedures to keep things moving, especially for families. And don't forget to bring your real ID or passport to get through security.
We are back with another edition of the Pet of the Week, and this time we have a perfect dog.
This is Abby. She's a 1.5-year-old treeing Walker Coonhound. The 4-legged dog is a sweet and a little bit shy. Animal Services says Abby would do well in a quiet environment.
Yeah, she is currently fostered with me, and the little bit of time I've been with her, she appears to be housebroken. She's okay with other dogs, and she was okay with cats as well. She's a very sweet girl, and she's looking for her forever home.
If you would like to adopt Abby or any of her 4 furry friends, call Animal Services at 301-780-7200 or scan the QR code on your screen. Now, Michaela, wasn't she so cute?
Very, very cute. I've never heard of a treeing Walker Coonhound, but I'm sure somebody would take her.
I know. I hope so.
Yeah, hope so. Now it's time for our Wednesday sports page.
Right, and you know what? I believe Simon is pitching us some exciting baseball news. What's happening, Simon?
Don't go anywhere, sports fans, because I have some baseball highlights in store for you after the break. Be right back.
We grew up together. We believed in something bigger than ourselves. The military took me to one side of the world and her to the other. And even though she was always the strong one, when we caught up years later, I found out she had fallen on some hard times. It was her call to make, but doing it together made all the difference.
When I see homeless vets on my route, I always think to myself, we both swore an oath to protect our way of life, to protect our community. With VA's hotline for homeless vets, I can get them connected with help to get them back on their feet again.
VA's round-the-clock hotline can put veterans who are homeless in touch with the resources and support they earned through their military service. You have the power to help a veteran facing homelessness. Go to va.gov/homeless to print your wallet cards. For veterans who are homeless or on the brink of homelessness, call 877-424-3838.
My opponent is completely disregarding almost half of my arguments which I responded to.
Communities must step up
Laws
and
alone
protest
cannot
against this
stop a
normalizing.
bullet.
Well, I completely disagree.
Point of inquiry, do you guys even realize that the #1 killer of children and teens are gun injuries?
You're probably starting to realize now, this is not a debate.
There is no adult in this earth that wants children to die.
I worry for my kids.
Okay, everybody, it's finally time for your Wednesday sports page. Now, the Chesapeake Bay Sox were in action last night, taking on the Altoona Curve. In the opening inning, Chesapeake started off well defensively, getting 2 quick outs. But the Bay Sox couldn't. And now the Curve was up 1-0 on the Bay Sox. Chesapeake went scoreless in the first inning, but so did Altoona in the second, as the Bay Sox refused to give up big plays like this attempted stolen base. And Chesapeake finally got on the board thanks to this hit from infielder Jalen Vasquez, leading to catcher Adam Resbach making it back to home plate. And the game was now tied at 1-1 going into the third inning. In the bottom of the third inning, with a man on third base, catcher Creed Willems hit this sac fly to the outfield, allowing Reed Trimble to score. Chesapeake was now ahead on Altoona 2-1 after the inning. No team scored in the fourth inning, but in the fifth, the Curve scored another run thanks to a home run hit from catcher Aaron McKeithen to tie the game at 2-2. Soon after, Trimble made another play for his team, hitting the ball to right center field and getting a home run of his own. And Chesapeake was ahead again, up 3-2 on the Curve after the fifth inning. But in the end, the Bay Sox couldn't keep their lead and ended up falling to Altoona, getting beaten 6-3. The two teams will take the diamond again tonight at 6:35. And the Baltimore Orioles fell to the Texas Rangers last night in a close game, 6-5. The next game of the series will be tonight at 6:35 as well. Meantime, Washington Wizards guard Jordan Poole is on the move as the team traded him, Sadiq Bey, and the number 40 pick in this year's draft to the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for C.J. McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second-round pick. Poole had a solid season this past year in the nation's capital, putting up 20 points and almost 5 assists. McCollum will look to add more veteran leadership to help mentor the Wizards' young core. The 33-year-old averaged 21 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists last season in the Big Easy. And Washington will try to add more talent to their roster as the team holds the number 6 pick in the NBA draft, which begins tonight at 8 o'clock. And that wraps up your Wednesday sports page. Simon Bugs, CTV Sports.
All right, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Today's heat advisory is in effect until 9 p.m.
And we are expecting some thunderstorms with a low of 76. For the rest of the week into the weekend, we're cooling down with a high chance of more thunderstorms.
Tomorrow, we reach a high of 94 with a low of 71. Friday, a high of 83 with a low of 71. And Saturday, we rise back up to 90 and a low of 73.
And for our community calendar, Councilwoman Walla Begay is calling for all students in District 6 to apply for the district's Youth Advisory Committee.
Members will work with her to create youth-focused programs and advise the councilwoman on issues impacting the youth. To apply, submit a letter of interest to your email right there on your screen, and the deadline to apply is July 7th. And that's all the time we have for CTV News. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.